don't even know why I'm recording this tonight. Maybe it's because I'm drunk again and the silence is too loud. Maybe it's because the weight on my chest has grown heavier than the bottle I'm holding. I've rehearsed this story in my head 1,000 times, like a man practicing his own confession before the gallows. But every time I tell it, even to myself, it feels different, more painful, more hollow. The truth is, I wasn't always this bitter. I used to be one of those men who believed in forever. Married my college sweetheart, had kids, built a small life that looked decent enough from the outside. 3 children, a house in the suburbs, a job that paid the bills. People said I was lucky. Maybe I was, but luck is fragile. It shatters quietly when you're not looking. It started with whispers, the kind of small, poisonous suspicions that grow in the corners of your mind. She began staying late at work. Her phone started living in her pocket. The way she smiled, it changed. She'd laugh at messages she never showed me. I'd ask, and she'd brush me off with that easy tone women use when they've already decided you're too dumb to understand. And then one night, I found the messages. I didn't even mean to. I wasn't snooping. I was just trying to play a song on her phone for the kids in the car. But her notifications were right there. His name, the words "I miss you," and a photo that didn't need explaining. The kind of photo that burns itself into your mind, like a brand that never fades. I wish I could say I confronted her right away, that I threw the phone at the wall or screamed or demanded answers. But I didn't. I froze. My heart didn't just break, it went numb. Because deep down, I already knew. I'd known for months, maybe even years. When I finally asked her, she didn't deny it. She just cried. And that's what made it worse, because her tears weren't for me, they were for him. She said it was a mistake, said she didn't mean to fall for someone else. But you don't accidentally love another man for 6 months. You don't accidentally let him into your bed while your husband tucks your children in. That night, something in me changed. I remember sitting in the dark afterward, watching her sleep. I thought about all the times I had trusted her, believed her, forgiven her small lies. I thought about the kids, about how innocent they looked when they ran into my arms after work. And then a darker thought crept in, one I couldn't shake. What if they're not mine? It was like being haunted by a question you can never unask. I told myself I was being paranoid, but the seed was planted. And when I finally got a DNA test done, the results were worse than I could have imagined. One of the kids wasn't mine. My youngest son, the one who looked most like her, the one I loved the most. I stared at that paper for hours, my hands shaking, trying to convince myself it didn't matter, that love was love, no matter whose blood ran in his veins. But the truth ate at me. It gnawed at my sanity. Because every time I looked at him, I saw her betrayal smiling back at me. So I did something I'm not proud of, something that made me realize how far I'd fallen. I found the man she cheated with, her coworker, her friend. I learned everything about him, his wife, his kids, his perfect little life. I met his wife at a work event once. She seemed sweet, almost fragile. And that's when it hit me. Revenge wasn't about violence. It was about symmetry. So I slept with her, his wife. It didn't happen right away. I didn't seduce her like in some movie. It happened slowly, naturally, like a wound reopening. We bonded over our pain, over betrayal. 2 broken people trying to feel wanted again. The first time it happened, we cried afterward. But then it became something else. A secret pact between survivors. I didn't plan to ruin lives, but life has a funny way of twisting your intentions. Months turned into years. The affair became routine. But then she told me something that made my blood run cold. She was pregnant. I knew instantly what it meant, because by then, her husband, the man who had destroyed my marriage, had stopped touching her altogether. He was too busy with my wife. She gave birth to a baby girl, and I knew without a doubt that child was mine. Now here, where the story gets cruel, because while I knew the truth, nobody else did. Her husband thought the baby was his. My wife thought her lover's child was mine. And I just watched from the sidelines, letting the irony consume them both. Years passed. The lies built themselves into families. Birthdays, holidays, school photos, all painted over the rot underneath. I didn't stop them. I didn't forgive. I just waited. And now I have a plan. Her lover, the man my wife ruined our marriage for, has 3 kids. None of them are his, not one. Because every time his wife looked at him, she saw the man who broke her. And every time she looked at me, she saw the man who understood her pain. So she kept coming back. I made sure of it. For 18 years, I've lived with this knowledge, carried it like a loaded gun in my pocket, waiting for the right moment. And I've decided when that moment will be, on the 18th birthday of their youngest child. The day he believes he's celebrating fatherhood, I'll hand him the truth. I'll give him the paternity results. I'll tell him what his wife did, what my wife did. I'll make him feel the same humiliation, the same powerlessness that I once did. People call me cruel when I tell them what I plan to do. But they weren't there when I cried alone in the shower every night. They didn't see me hold a child that wasn't mine and whisper love into lies. They didn't wake up every morning to the ghost of trust murdered in their own home. I didn't choose this path. It chose me the day she decided to betray me. Do I regret it? Sometimes. Especially when I look at the children, all of them innocent, smiling, unaware. They didn't ask to be born into a web of deceit. I know that what I plan to do will destroy them too. But then I remind myself destruction was already in motion long before me. I'm just the final spark. Tonight, as I speak these words into the dark, I can almost hear her voice in my head. My ex-wife. The way she used to laugh, the way she used to say, "I love you," like it meant something. I wonder if she ever thinks about me, if she ever lies awake at night, feeling the same ache I do. Probably not. People like her, they move on. They bury the guilt under new love, new homes, new promises. They convince themselves it was all a mistake, that they're still good people. But I remember. I always remember. When I finally tell the truth, when I finally break the illusion, I'll be free. Not happy, not healed, but free. Because the worst prison a man can live in isn't behind bars. It's the one he builds inside himself with silence. And I've been silent long enough. Maybe one day they'll understand why I did it. Maybe one day they'll see that it wasn't revenge, it was closure. Or maybe I'm just another broken man, drowning in his own bitterness. Either way, the clock is ticking. The birthday is coming. And when that day arrives, the truth will burn brighter than the candles on that cake.